Okay, good afternoon. The shir is later Nishmas, Osher Shmuel Chaim and Ephraim, Esther Bas Sarah, Tzvi ben Shragai, Rivka Bas Yitzchak Isaac, Miri Bas Yaakov, later Nishmas Tzvi Dov ben Chaim Pesach,
and Mara from Nikki's brother,
Yitzchak ben Sarah, Devorah Bas Yitzchak, Leah Bas Simcha, later Nishmas Avraham and Mordechai David, Ruvain ben Shmuel, Chana Golda Bas Yisrael, Chaim ben Fega, Mataleya Bas Eliyahu, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, and Nishmas Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, then Nishmatam, and Zalman Lei ben Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov, Leila Nishmatam. So good afternoon. Thank you.
Shoshana Bat Clara.
Shoshana Bas Clara, Leila Nishmata? Shoshana Bas Clara. She's not on the list?
No.
Okay.
And
She is, Slicha, you're right, Shoshana Bat Clara. Slicha, it's on the list. Shoshana Bat Clara. Yeah.
Susie, Shoshana Bas, she's very sick.
She's sick. Havla ben Chaim Chaim, Kushbok Sam Fuah Shalema,
Shoshana Bas.
Shoshana Bas, Sarah Freda. Fuah Shalema. And Fuah Shalem Shoshana. Nomi Bas Shoshana. Fuah Shalema. Toch Shachai Yisrael. Hashta Bagolas Man Korib and Naimer Omein. Before we get to the Haftorah, Yehuda Lev always asks me very good questions. He asked, just because Yaakov lost the wrestling, he won the wrestling match, and he got wounded in the thigh, therefore we can't eat sirloin steak. I mean, right? What does A got to do with B? Sirloin, yes. The sciatica nerve is located in the sirloin area, the hind quarter. So the Torah says, Yaakov was limping, Al came, therefore the Jewish people should not eat Gid Anoshe, because Yaakov was wounded in the thigh. So what does A got to do with B? So the Sefer Chinuch asks you this question, but he asks it because the Jew asks Hakasha with no Hakasha. Right? Why not? One of the animaments is to believe in the becoming of the Mashiach. Right, Chava? Animamim, B'vias HaMashiach. It's an ikra of Yahadut. Right? If you don't believe in it, you're a kofar. So the last time I checked, where's the belief in the Mashiach in the Taryag Mitzvot? Last time I checked, it wasn't there, Chava. If it's an ikra of Yahadut, shouldn't it be one of the Taryag Mitzvot? You would think. It says the Sefer HaChinuch, strange as it sounds, the mitzvah in the Torah not to eat the Gid Anoshe somehow reaffirms my belief in the coming of the Messiah. Did you know that? Good thing you came today. Now how do we connect the dots? Sefer Chinuch says that in the Taryag Mitzvot, which mitzvah reminds us to believe in the coming of Mashiach, somehow by not eating sirloin steak, by not eating sciatica nerve, somehow that reminds me of what? Of the belief in the coming of the Mashiach. How do we connect the dots? So the Chinuch explains as follows. Yaakov's wrestling match, it was a long, dark, bitter night of exile. And he was wounded. In the night of exile, we're wounded. There's terrorist attacks. And there's karbonot. Yaakov was wounded during the long and bitter night of exile. But in the end, Vayishlach lo Hashemesh. The sun rose for him. The long, bitter night of exile was over for Yaakov Avinu. And that's Maisa Avot Simila Banim. We're now in the long, bitter night of exile. And Nebuch, we're wounded. But we have to know that just like the sun of healing rose for Yaakov Avinu, so too the sunshine of Mashiach will come and redeem us as well. So by focusing on the Gid Hanoshe, Rabbi Yaakov, by not eating the Gid Hanoshe, that's why Yaakov was wounded in the thigh. The thigh represents what? The future Dorot. It's a euphemism for the sexual organ, says the Chinuch. Future Dorot, the Jewish people will suffer casualties, children and grandchildren never. But we have to know, just like the bitter night of exile ended for Father Jacob, Vayishlach lo Hashemesh, so too the long bitter night of terrorism will end for us, and we will also have the sunshine rising for us, the sunshine of what? Of Mashiach. So Yehuda, thanks for the question. By studying the mitzvah of Gid HaNoshe and not eating that, we are focusing on, yes, we were wounded in the thigh. Represents Jewish Dorot. Afal Pi Kain, the sun rose for Yaakov, and the son of the Messiah will rise for us and redeem us from our peace partners. And our peace partners.
Will gain children too.
That's right. So this is the idea. So next time anyone asks you, Chava, where in the Taryag mitzvot is there a mitzvah about Mashiach? The Sefer Chinuch points to the mitzvah not to eat the Gid HaNoshe. By not eating it, it reaffirms our belief that the Mashiach will come and redeem us. It reminds us, yes, we're wounded in the Gid, we're wounded in the thigh, the terrorist attack. But Vayishlach lo Hashemesh. And we will also have the Shemesh of the Messiah as well. So human beings need tangible symbols to focus, as the Chinuch. So God gave us so many mitzvahs that in the tangible world, this reminds us that there will be what? A redemption. Just hang in there. Hashemesh. Go ahead.
No, but didn't the Israelis figure out a way to trade the meat?
Well, if you take it out, no, the Gid HaNoshe you can't eat.
Right.
But if you take out if you take it out from the hind quarter, you can eat the sirloin steak, but you can't eat the Gid HaNoshe.
Oh,
That's right.
You can't eat the Gid HaNoshe. It's very difficult to take out that part. It's expensive to take it out. But if you take it out, you still can't eat that part. So by not eating that Gid HaNoshe, it reminds me to focus, despite the long night dark of terrorism that we're in now, there will be a dawn of redemption. Okay, so by not eating that Gid HaNoshe, it's a reminder. It's a reminder. Helps me focus on the coming of the Mashiach. So today, yeah, yes?
Rabbi, don't some Jews know how to take out the Gid HaNoshe?
No, but even if you take it out, you can't eat it. Chava.
You can't eat the...
You can't eat the Gid HaNoshe. Take it out, make it out, you can't eat it. You can eat the sirloin steak if you take out that section.
I always heard
Right.
the expression in Yiddish, but to travel means...
To treba means to take that out so you can eat the hindquarter.
That's right. That's what
But the Gid HaNoshe you can't eat. Even if you take it out, you can't eat it. Why can't you eat it? Why? Reminds me to believe that the Gid HaNoshe reminds me that Yaakov was wounded. He was wounded in that area. He was terrorized. Long and bitter night of terror. Afal Pi Kain, the sun rose for him. So the son of the Messiah will rise for us as well. Hang in there, Chava, don't despair. When you look at the Gid HaNoshe, it's a reminder. And human beings need tangible symbols, David, to what? Friendly reminder, to remind me. Don't despair, hang in there. How do I know? Father Jacob.
But who wants to eat the Gid HaNoshe? We want to eat
It's a reminder, okay.
Rabbi,
Yes?
And it says that the sun rose from Peniel or Penuel.
Right.
Isn't that also related to what you just said?
Peniel means the face of God.
God.
The face of God. Peniel means the face of God. We will see God beautiful. Dr. Peter, beautiful. Peniel means the face of God. When the Messiah comes, God will reveal himself, his face. No more peekaboo, David. No more peekaboo, hiding. No more Hester upon him. Beautiful. Peniel, God's face, Kaviyachol. No more Hester upon him. Excellent. Shkoyach, doctor. Huh? God will reveal his face, Kaviyachol. The game is over. No more, there's no more need to play hide and seek when Mashiach comes. Right? It's all a game. Hester upon him, like you play hide and seek with your kid. Peekaboo. The game will be over, Peniel. But right now, look at the Haftorah. I hope you have the books in this Chazon Ovadia. And we'll see how it speaks to current events. But amazing, before we get to the Parsha, there's an amazing Balaturim. Abraham, amazing Balaturim in this week's Parsha. But he wrote this in 1348. But it's Matim Aryeh for what? Today. Otherwise, we wouldn't be reading this Parsha. An amazing Balaturim. I'll translate in English, Yehuda. He says, Yaakov's fear of Esav and making concessions to Esav caused us to be exiled to Esav. The Baal HaTurim writing in the year 1348. Yaakov's fear of Esav and making concessions and goodwill gestures to Esav caused us to be exiled to Esav. Mida keneged mida. In other words, if we act like sheep, we'll be butchered by the PLO. Chava. Current events, the Baal HaTurim, this week's Parsha. Now, we know Maisa Avot Simin Labanim. Know what that means? The deeds of the fathers are a sign for the children, says the Ramban, sometimes what not to do. Should I repeat that? Normally, Maisa Avot Simin Labanim is the deeds of the fathers are a roadmap, not a road trap, a roadmap for the children. Most of the time, what to do, but sometimes what not to do. Not to make goodwill gestures to Esav and Yishmael, because if you act like sheep, you'll be butchered by the PLO. Did he have Ruach HaKodesh? This is the Baal HaTurim writing in the year 1348. How many years ago was that, Yehuda? Just pretty amazing. Huh? 700 years ago, more. But anyway, let's look at the Haftorah. Chazon Avadia. Koyomar Hashem Elokim leEdom. You have it? Thus says the Lord God to Edom. Who is Edom? Edom is Europe, Christian Europe. Shemua Shamanu Me'esh Hashem V'tzir Bagoyim Shulach Menukom Aleim L'Mechama. The vision of Avadia. Now, first of all, how does the Parsha connect to the Haftorah? Before that, the Parsha relates the meeting between Yaakov and Esav, right? When the encounter ended, the brothers became two separate kingdoms. Esav's heritage was the land of Seir. Yaakov returned to Eretz Yisrael, right? So, here you have in the Parsha the meeting of Yaakov and Esav. And Chazal say that this chapter of Yaakov and Esav is a textbook of Jewish behavior in exile. So, let's take a look at this Haftorah carefully and see what we can see. Mamish current events. The vision of Avadia. Thus says Hashem Elokim concerning Edom. We have heard tidings from Hashem, and a messenger has been sent among the nations, saying, arise and let us rise up against her for battle. So who was Avadia? Who was he? He was, Elana, he was an Edomite convert. So it's appropriate that he prophesies against Edom because he himself, what? Came from Edom. He was a Ger Tzedek from Edom. He was a pagan. And he became what? Ovadia. What does Ovadia mean? Servant of God. The greatness of a Ger, from a pagan to a Navi Hashem. Now there were millions of Nevi'im, says the Gemara Megillah. He made it the all-time hit parade, Arya, one of the 48. There are millions of Nevi'im, but only 48 made it, Ilana, to the all-time parade. And one of them was a Ger Tzedek. Wow. The top 48. Remember the top, all-time, the top 48. Now,
The top 40 on the radio was always the top.
but this is the top 48 of the Nevi'im.
I thought you were trying
On the all-time hit parade. Now, the greatness of a Ger. Now, before we get to that, Hanukkah's around the corner, Aryeh. So the Baal HaTurim says, don't act like Yaakov, make goodwill gestures and concessions, because if you act like a sheep, they'll eat you up like a wolf. Act like the Maccabees, says the Ramban. Fight back. Fight back like the Maccabees, because God only helps those who help themselves, Chava. If the Maccabees would not have fought back, forget about it. Who remembers Vince Lombardi here? I used to be a Green Bay Packer fan. Vince Lombardi said the best defense is an offense. Hey, Bibi, hello. We should send this to Bibi. The best defense is an offense. What are they playing defense for? Letting yourself waiting for the next stabbing victim? It's crazy. They just sit back and wait for the next.
You're talking on deaf ears.
What?
You're talking on deaf ears.
Vince Lombardi, where are you when we need you? The great coach. The best defense is an offense. But anyway, Chazon Ovadia. So he said he was a Ger Tzedek who left Edom, and he prophesied against his former nation. We heard tidings from Hashem that God himself will wage war against Edom at the end of time. Pasuk 2. You have that, Ilana, Pasuk 2? Mm-hmm. Behold, I've made you inferior among the nations. You are very hated. You hear what God is speaking to Edom? To Edom, you are despised because he was such a Rasha. Halacha b'yidua she'esav sona liYakov. Halacha b'yidua she'esav sona liYakov. It's halacha that Esav hates Yaakov. In the end of Parshas Vayetze, it says that Esav married Yishmael's daughter. What do I need to know that for? The end of Parshas Vayetze, Esav married Yishmael's daughter. Why is that important? That irrational hatred of Esav is now what? Intermarried with whom? With Abu Mamzer. The irrational hatred. It's not historic. We don't need to know history. That Esav married Bat Yishmael. Esav irrational hatred. Halacha b'yidua. That irrational hatred is now mingled with what? With our peace partners. No matter how many goodwill gestures, no matter how many concessions, it's not going to matter because I can't stop hating you. I've made up my mind. Just incredible. How all the answers, the Mishnah says in Avot, David, hafochba vafochba de kulaba. All the answers to all our problems are where? In the Torah. You just have to know where to look. But they're none so blind as will not see, as Yirmiyahu says, Anayim lahem v'lo yiru. They have eyes, our government, but they can't see the truth. They're delusional. Or they're living on fantasy island. Concessions, goodwill gestures. Today's headlines in the Jerusalem Post. They have to make more concessions to the PA. I mean, it's just insanity.
So what do you want from the Arabs? The Jews are giving them guns.
Just insanity.
What do you want from them? We're giving them guns.
Deuteronomy 28 says, Yak Hashem b'shigaon aryeh. One of the tochachas, Nebuch, God will strike your leaders with madness. Deuteronomy 28, Chava. So that pasuk they're doing with all the Hidurim. Yak Hashem b'shigaon. Ilana.
Yeah. But it's
The government, right?
They already
It's
were.
madness. And we suffer for it. But anyway, look at the Haftorah over here. Look at the Haftorah. Let's go to Pasuk 4. Yehuda, let's go to Pasuk 4. Im tagbia kanesher.
Insolent pride.
4. Even if you raise up your nest like an eagle. What's the sign of America?
Eagle.
The eagle. You're arrogant like the eagle. You mock Israel. You mock Jonathan Pollard. You're arrogant like an eagle. I will bring you down from there, says God. America's going down the toilet. Shoshana, it's incredible. Ovadia from 2,800 years ago. You mighty eagle. An American dollar bill is an eagle. David, it's a sign of America. You raise yourself up. You're arrogant like an eagle. Mocking Israel, mocking Jonathan Pollard. God says, I will bring you down from there, says the word of Hashem. Just incredible. How the Haftorah always speaks to what? To current events.
How have they mocked Jonathan Pollard?
How they mocked him? They put a bracelet on his hand. He has no privacy even with his wife. He wants to be alone with his wife. They're spying and listening in on him. That's not mocking him. He can't have no privacy with his wife in the bedroom. They're listening in on him. That's not mocking him. sticking it to him and to us, because he's a Jew. 30 years. Anyone else spying for a friendly country, the maximum they got was 3 years in jail, not 30 years.
Why is the guy, the Russian, the one who spied for Russia around that time, got only 10 years?
That's an enemy state. You got 10 years. For friendly state, they never give more than 3 years.
Was it Ames or Walker?
But anyway, let's move on. Let's take a look. What?
The Rosenbergs were executed when they spied for Russia.
Right.
Something else.
But spying for a friendly country, the maximum amount until Palo was 3 years. He spied for a friendly country. Israel's an ally. Instead of giving him 3 years, they gave him 30 years.
I don't mean to be contentious. I'm just going to say to you, you know, Dalit Nemi Atolme,
Nachon.
that's the smartest thing you will ever learn by going to shul. All right?
Therefore,
They indicted Casper Weinberger, and he pled not guilty. He knew exactly before whom he stands.
yeah.
They knew they better get rid of this. They made it go away, and Casper Weinberger didn't do a day. And unfortunately, Jonathan Pollard
Pay the price.
thought that he could plead guilty. This is a complete mistake that he made.
But anyway, there was a deal, and they double-crossed him.
I'm sorry, so Dali Fnei
Nachon.
is the smartest thing you will ever learn by going to shul.
Nachon.
What is it?
Know in front of who you stand, all right? Who you're dealing with. Know who you're dealing with, right? Now, let's look at verse 8, Chava. You have it? Ilana. Behold, on that day. You have it? Verse 8. Behold, on that day. Which day? Miller time. When Mashiach comes, the word of Hashem, I will eradicate wise men from Edom and understanding from the mountain of Esav. You hear what he says?
Boy, Birnbaum says, on that day, says the Lord, I will destroy the wise men out of Edom and all intelligence from Mount Asa.
Okay. Now, Pasuk 9. Pasuk 9. Your mighty ones to the south will be broken, so that every man will be cut off from mountain of Esav by the slaughter. So this is predicting that when Mashiach comes, we're going to settle up, Chava, with all of our European friends. Our anti-Semitic European friends, right? Europe is under siege. They're overrun by Muslim terrorists, and all they're thinking about is labeling products from Efrat. David, it's insane. Europe is being inundated by Muslim terror. The whole continent, Ilana, is under lockdown. They're terrified, and they're busy labeling wine from Efrat. That's sick. That's what they're doing. Sick.
Who is Teman?
Taman. Now, who is Taman? That's a good question.
It's Yemen, isn't it?
Taman could be Yemen, right? Yemen,
That is what we call it.
right? But look at Pasuk Yud. Look at the Hebrew. Mechamas achicha. Yehuda, you got to look at the Hebrew. Mechamas achicha. Yaakov. Right? Hamas, our peace partners. See that, Ilana? Mechamas achicha Yaakov techascha busha nechrata la'olam. From the violence of your brother Yaakov, disgrace will envelope you and you will be cut off forever. So we're going to turn the tables. You hear this? Yehuda, we're going to act like Hamas. We should take off the gloves. Untie the hands of the IDF. You hear what the prophet is saying, Aryeh? Bibi, where are you? We should act like Hamas. When you're dealing with low-life, bloodthirsty terrorists, what are you kuchikuing them?
We should have a day of rage.
Where's our day of rage? Mechamas achicha. We should act like Hamas, right?
But we can't, because we'd be frightened what the world might say.
Oh, what the world might say, right? What will the world say? Ben-Gurion said, it doesn't matter what the Goyim say, it matters what the Jews do. Ben-Gurion, we need Ben-Gurion today, you know that?
We need Lieberman today.
Putin would be better.
Yeah, but Lieberman.
Bring Putin in, right? I think.
Be careful, you might get your wish.
He says it was a stab in the back.
That's right. Now, verse 11, David. On the day that you stood from afar, on the day that strangers captured his wealth, foreigners came to his gates, cast a lottery on Jerusalem, you too were like one of them. This is speaking about the Chorban. The Chorban, Bet HaMikdash, was done by Rome. Rome is what? Edom. Rome is Edom. Also the eagle. Right? Also the eagle, that's Rome. Pasuk 12. Pasuk 12, gaze not on the day of your brother, the day of his estrangement, and rejoice not over the children of Yehuda on the day of their destruction, and do not expand your mouth on the day of misfortune. What does that mean? So going back to the Parsha, Yehuda, when Esav wept, right? Esav cried, he didn't get the bracha. Yitzchak told him when Yaakov's sins caused him to be punished, Esav would throw off the yoke of Yaakov. Now the prophet tells Esav not to rejoice over Yaakov's defeat at the hands of those who will exile the Jewish people, because the exile will not last forever. The time will come when Esav will become subservient to Yaakov. You hear? Pasuk 13, enter not the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Gaze not you too upon his evil on the day of his calamity, and do not extend your hand to his wealth on the day of his calamity. Pasuk 14, stand not by the crossroads to cut off his fugitives, and deliver not his survivors on the day of what? Misfortune. Why? Pasuk 15, look at Pasuk 15. Ki korev yoim Hashem al kol hagoyim. For the day of Hashem upon all the nations is close. Yehuda, it's a reckoning time, it's coming. The EU and the UN. For the day of Hashem upon all the nations is very close. As you have done to the Jews, so shall be done to you. Wow. Whatever you did will come back on your own head. What a pasuk. Yiddish? Ki korev yoim Hashem al kol hagoyim, comma, because the day of reckoning of Hashem is close for all the, what are the nations? The EU. Kasha sisa, as you have done to the Yidden Yosalach, what you done to do, Gemulcha Yoshib Barashecha. What does that mean? Your wickedness will come back on your own head. I think it's called the boomerang effect, or Mida Keneged Mida. See that? Pasuk Tezayin, Pasuk 16. For just as you drank on my holy mountain, so will all the nations drink ceaselessly. They will drink and be confounded and become as they never were. You drank Jewish blood. All these centuries, there'll be a reckoning. The Melech HaMashiach will settle up the score with all of the Jew haters.
Now.
Right? And Pasuk Ovadia,
When was this written?
he was the chief of staff of Achav during Bayit Rishon, the first temple. Very strange. Achav Harasha, the wicked Achav, Ahab and Jezebel, his chief of staff was this righteous Navi. Isn't that strange that such a Rasha king, Rabbi Yaakov, should have of his chief of staff a righteous Navi? So the Talmud explains that he used him as a good luck charm. Achav's kingdom was very prosperous, very great, despite being a Rasha. You know why? Because who ran the kingdom? It was Avadia. So that's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. David, all of us to a certain degree. On one hand, he was a Mr. Hyde, Achav. And yet he was a Dr. Jekyll. He was very benevolent, and he gave a lot of power and authority to whom? To this great man, Ovadia. He figured he's his good luck charm, and he was very prosperous despite being a wicked king. So he prophesies about Edom, and look at Pasuk Yud Zayin. Ubahar, look at Pasuk Yud Zayin. Ubahar Tzion Tia Pleita. On Mount Zion, when the missiles start flying, Chava, they said clean out your bomb shelters. You know that? You read in the news? The Jerusalem Post wrote last week, make sure your bomb shelters are clean. Well, last week they had an article there They're expecting Hezbollah with all their missiles. Ubahar Tzion, the safest place will be where, Yehuda? Ubahar Tzion Tia Pleita, on holy Mount Zion. What does Pleita mean? Give me shelter. Remember that song, Chava, Give Me Shelter? Ubahar Tzion Tia Pleita, on Mount Zion there'll be shelter. V'hoya Kodesh.
At the OU as well.
V'yorshu Bet Yaakov. Har Tzion means the whole city of Jerusalem. Har Tzion means the whole city of Jerusalem, yes?
I heard this story from somebody from a well-known literature family,
Right.
political family. He told me that the Vilna Gaon was seen weeping through the streets of Vilna, and people asked him what he was weeping for, and he said, "Ubatzion tiye pleta." In other words, he foresaw at his time, that's nearly 200 years before he saw the Shoah.
He for sure. So you know, when the Kaiser came to the Kaiser in 1795, the Vilna Gaon died in 1797. The Kaiser came to Vilna in 1795. The Vilna Gaon told his Talmidim, don't go see him. He's Amalek. The Kaiser from Deutschland. How did the Vilna Gaon know in 1795 that Germany is what? Amalek. He had Ruach HaKodesh. Anyway, Bahar Tzion Tio Pleita V'hoya Kodesh Shoshana V'yorshu Bet Yaakov Es Barosheim. I'm telling you the current events, Shoshana. The Jerusalem Post just wrote there's millions of dollars of loot that was looted from the Yidden by Germany. It's still not returned. Millions and millions of looted treasures, art, paintings that the Germans stole from the Jews, and it's still not recovered 70 years later.
Where is it?
Where is it?
Germany.
So look what the Navi says in verse 17, Shoshana. You have it in front of you. Verse 17. On Mount Zion there shall be refuge, and it will be holy, and the house of Jacob will inherit back all of the assets that were stolen from them. They're going to get it back. Yiddish Aviva? Current events. All the lost treasure that were looted from the murdered Jews, Rabbi Yaakov, the prophet prophesizes that we're going to inherit back. That's what it says. The Yorshu Beit Yaakov et Moroshayim. Yaakov, the house of Yaakov, the Jews will re-inherit all of their stolen possessions that were looted by the Nazis. And this is headlines in the paper just last week in the New York Times. Sometimes I buy an international New York Times. Amazing. Where's all this loot that's still missing? So the prophet says here that we are going to get it back. Look at Pasuk Yud Ches. V'hoya Beit Yaakov Eish. Light my fire, Rabbi Yaakov, light my fire. V'hoya Beit Yaakov Eish. Ubeis Yosef lahava. Ubeis Esav lakash. V'dolku behem b'cholam. V'liyah sarid. L'beis Esav ki Hashem diber. Frightening prophecy. It's not PC, Chava. The house of Yaakov will be a fire. The house of Yosef a flame. And the house of Esav will be straw. And they will ignite them and devour them. Who is they? The IDF. When we're allowed to take the gloves off. There will be no survivor to the house of Esav. For Hashem has spoken. The prophet is not PC, Yehuda.
Yeah, but
There will be no survivor to the house of Esav. For Hashem has spoken. Now, I have a kasha. The prophet seems to contradict himself, Yehuda. Here it says, no survivor, right? But, if you look at verse 21, it says something else. Look at verse 21. Any volunteers? Bahar Tzion, Lishpot et Har Esav, V'hoisav L'Hashem Amlucha. Saviors will ascend Mount Zion to judge the mountain of Esav. If they're all dead, there's nobody left to judge. Are ye? Is there a contradiction? No. There won't be no survivors of the terrorists. But those Esav guys that are not terrorists, they'll survive. We don't kill innocent people. Otherwise, you have a contradiction. In verse 18, he says, no survivors. In verse 21, Shoshana, he says, saviors will ascend Mount Zion to judge Esau. If they're all dead, there's nobody left to judge. So this means only the terrorists will be destroyed, not innocent people.
Rabbi Sprecher,
Yes.
Are Ishmael? They're not Esau that we love now.
But you came a little late. Remember we said, Ishan, if you come a little late, you miss. It says in the end of Parshas Vayetze, it says something amazing. The end of Toldos, it says, Vayelech Esav el Yishmael, Vayikach es bat Yishmael. Esav married the daughter of Yishmael. Why is that important? Why is that important? GPS. That hatred of Esav is now fused into Yishmael. I can't stop hating you. I need to know that 3,700 years ago, Esav married Yishmael's daughter. It's not a history lesson, it's GPS.
Now they're family.
That hatred is now infused, that irrational hatred of Esav is now mingled and intermarried with whom? With Abu Mamzer. Right? So that's the point, Shoshana. It's amazing. The Torah is GPS.
But they're all distant cousins now. It's not just the one.
So only the terrorists will be destroyed, not innocent people. And this idea goes so far. At the end of this week's Parsha, keep in mind, Yolana, there's exactly 304,805 letters in a Torah scroll. If you don't believe it, you can count. So the Rambam wonders, at the end of this week's Parsha, the Torah goes on, giving me the family tree of Esav. Remember roots? Why should I care? So many psukim at the end of Vayishlach, giving me the family tree of Esav. Who cares? Says the Rambam, since there's a mitzvah to annihilate Amalek, when Mashiach comes, that mitzvah will kick in. Esav had many grandchildren. The Torah has to give me his family tree, because when it comes to settle up with Esav, only the Amalekite line must be destroyed. The other grandchildren are not to be harmed. So the Torah has to be very specific. Look how the Torah values human life, says Rambam Or Nevuchim. So the Torah gives me so many psukim, giving me the exact lineage, that's the right word, of all of Esav's grandchildren, because only Amalek must be destroyed. The other grandchildren are not to be harmed. So we have to have a family tree of Uncle Esav. Look how the Torah values human life. Otherwise, who needs the family tree? Remember Kunta Kinte? Roots. But Mashiach will settle up the score. This is what he's saying here. The Amalekite will be destroyed, but not innocent Esav's grandchildren. No. But you got to look at verse 20. If you don't read it in the Hebrew, you don't buckle your seatbelts, you'll fall off your chair, Ilana. What took place in Paris last week? How did the prophet know? Look at Pasuk Kaf. 20. V'golta heichal hazeh livnei Yisrael asher knanim ad. What's the next word? Yehuda, what's the next word? Tzarfat. How did the prophet know 2,700 years ago about Tzarfat? When he lived, Tzarfat was inhabited by jungle bunnies. Who lived in France 2,700 years ago?
Rashi.
27, what are you talking about? Rashi lived in 1040. Who lived in France 2,700 years ago? Cavemen. How did Ovadia, writing 27 years ago, he mentioned Tzarfat. He mentions Tzarfat. Wow. We'll always have Paris. Who said that? They're on the lockdown. Paris is on the lockdown. Tzarfat. All of Europe. The chickens have come home to roost. The French love the Muslims. Right? Europe loves the Muslims. What?
So let him have them for supper.
That's right. So now they're inundated. God has a sense of humor, Chava. Would you say? So at Tzarfat, the terrorism will reach at Tzarfat. Aviva, how did the prophet know this 2,700 years ago? Just unbelievable. Huh? Pasuk Chav Aleph, Olu Moshiach Bahar Tzion, Lishpot et Har Esav, Vayishlach Hashem Hamlucha. Saviors will come up to Mount Zion to judge Esav, and then the kingdom will be Hashem. The mask will come off. So what does this pasuk mean? What does this pasuk mean? Saviors will send Mount Zion to judge Esav. When the two brothers parted in the Parsha, Ilana Yaakov said, I'm going to join up with you, Esav. I'll meet Esav in Mount Seir 3,700 years ago. So the long-awaiting meeting is prophesied in this verse. At the end of time, when Mashiach comes, Yaakov's descendants will ascend Esav's mountain. Then the wicked Esav will be punished for all their hatred and persecution of the Jewish people. So who are the saviors, David? Who are the saviors? Moshiach. Who are they? The Sheret HaPleita. We are the saviors. We are the survivors. The Holocaust survivors. My parents, both of them are Holocaust survivors. And thank God I teach on Har Zion. Can you imagine that? The miracles that my parents went through to survive the war. Unbelievable miracles that my parents made it. 98% of Polish Jewry was annihilated. 98. And my parents both survived. You know why? Because I had to come up to Har Zion, where I teach Torah every day. Yolanda, it's incredible. V'olo Moshiach b'Har Zion. Survivors. I'm a survivor. My parents survived the Holocaust, and I teach, thank God, b'Har Zion. Lishpot et Har Esav. V'Vayishlach Hashem Hamlucha. What an amazing prophecy. We are the survivors, our generation. Right? Tzidkas HaTzadik Olav, right? So Mount Zion will settle up, right? We have the last laugh on Hitler, don't we? We're here. Where is Hitler and the Nazis? Where are they? Where are they, right? Vayishlach Hashem Hamlucha. Vayishlach Hashem Hamlucha. Huh?
Hashem is the ruler.
Rabbi Wein tells a story. He was close with the Panovitcher Rebbe. The Panovitcher Rebbe. The great Panovitcher. He built the Panovitcher yeshiva. So Rabbi Wein tells a story. He had a rich Talmud in Rome. A rich Talmud in Rome. So he went to raise money. And the plane landed, and it was a very heavy rain. So the Talmud picked him up, and he says, Rebbe, let me take you home, get a shower, food. No, he says, you must take me to the Arch of Titus. He says, Rebbe, it's pouring, it's raining. Let me take you home, give you a hot meal and a bath. 9, we have to go to the Arch of Titus. Rebbe, it's raining. So what? Pouring rain. Stops the Arch of Titus, and the punished Rebbe gets out. What's written on the Arch of Titus? Judea capta.
What does that mean?
Judea is destroyed. Captured. Kaput. So he gets out and he says, Titus, Titus, where are you? Look at the state of Israel.
Oh, bistu
Vi bistu Titus. 2,000 years ago, he said the Jewish people are finished. Titus, vi bistu. Where are you? Who's finished? Am Yisrael Chai. That couldn't wait. In the rain, he cried that out, the great Panovitcher Rebbe. This is the idea. The saviors from Hitler on Har Zion studying Torah. All the great yeshivas. You know what they're named after? Mirror Yeshiva. Thousands of Talmidim. Mirror, Bells, Panovich. You know what these names come from? Those are all of the towns that the Nazis annihilated.
They think they know.
And it's unbelievable. Mirror, Tells, Bells, Ger. All these names are names that the villages were destroyed completely. And we're back. There never was so many Yidden studying Torah in Israel today. Never. Not even the temple period. In all of the great yeshivas, named after the cities that were wiped out by the Nazis. Where are the Nazis and where are we? Am Yisrael Chai. Despite the long, bitter night of exile that Yaakov fought, there's going to be a dawn of redemption. How do I know? The Torah says, the sun rose for him. If it's only him, it wouldn't be in the Torah. The dawn of redemption rose for Yaakov, it'll rise for us. We have to know that. We have to be strong. Who sang that? Only the strong survive. Who sang that? Rabbi Yaakov used to be a DJ. Only the strong survive. We're now going through a terrible period of Hester upon him. David, if you came just to hear this, David always asks me, what's going on? All the terrorism, all the tzorot. There's an amazing pasuk in Parshas Vayishlach, Devarim 31. V'anoichi haster aster panai. We're going through terrible Hester upon him now. Terrible Hester upon him. Terrorist attack and more attack. Is it random? It looks like it, but God says, Anoichi. What's Anoichi? Anoichi Shem Lakecha. Yes, it looks like Aster upon him, but I'm there. I'm there suffering along with you. Imo Anoichi Betzara. It's not random. There is a plan. We're not privy to it. There's Hester upon him. But God says, in the Hester upon him, there's Anoichi. What's Anoichi? Hashem Elokecha. To us, it looks like Hester upon him, but he's there with us. And nothing happens by accident. It looks like an accident, but it's not. People can die by accident, but never through an... Is it the other way around? People can die through an accident, thank you, but not by. Thank you, Alana. People later can die through an accident, but never by accident. How do I know? Deuteronomy 31:18. V'anoichi haster aster panai. Even in the terrible Hester upon him, the Anoichi is there. I'm there. There's a plan. I can't tell you what it is. The long and bitter night. When Yaakov fought the long and bitter night of exile, he didn't know what's going on. Right? But God was there with him. Psalm 91, Chava, Imo Anoichi Betzara. What does that mean? I am with him in all of his suffering. Who's him? The Jewish people. Right? We have to know that.
Only the strong survive. The song written by Jerry Butler, Penny Gemmel, and Leonard Huff song originally, but Billy Paul did.
Only the strong survive, right? That's Am Yisrael, right?
Billy Paul did.
Right? So anyway, all the stolen Jewish property being held somewhere in Berlin, we're going to get it back, Chava. How do I know that? Look at verse 17 again. All the stolen Jewish property still being held in Berlin. The prophet says in verse 17, V'har Tzion tiya pleita v'hoya kodesh v'yorshu beit Yaakov et maroshehem. We're going to get back all of our stolen inheritance. Pretty amazing. How everything is what is in the Haftorah. It's just amazing. Everything is in the Haftorah. Amazing. Now, Yaakov had this wrestling match, Chava. Who was he wrestling with? His Yetzer Hara. Don't we all wrestle with our Yetzer Hara? Huh? Vayivoseh Yaakov levado. What do you mean? Yaakov remained alone. He wrestled with himself. Right? My Rabbi used to say, every person's a Dr. Jekyll and a Mr. Hyde. And if you don't believe that, you don't know yourself. My great Rebbe Rapam Zatzal said, every person is a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And if you don't believe that, you don't know yourself. You win some, you lose some. You're not going to win every battle, Chava. But even if you fall, you get up, and you tzaddik yipol sheva, sheva yipol tzaddik. It's a verse in Mishlei. The tzaddik will fall 7 times. Even Ezra says 7 means many in Tanakh. Why is he a tzaddik? The come. He doesn't stay down. He picks himself off the floor. You're not going to win every battle. But just the fact that you don't give up, that's half the battle, Yehuda. You don't give up. Yaakov didn't give up. He was wrestling with his Yetzer Hara. Vayivosha Yaakov levado. How did he win the wrestling match? What does levado mean? It's all up to me. I can't afford to lose. Bishvili nivra olam. The Mishnah says in Sanhedrin, the whole world was created just for me. If it's all up to me, I can't afford to lose every battle. I'll lose some, David, I can't lose all. It's up to me, and if I don't do it, it won't get done. Levado. I'm all alone. It's me and the Yetzer Hara. Right? So Yaakov was wrestling. He got wounded, but in the end, he won. And that's Maisa Avot Simin Labanim. The Ramban keeps saying that. Why does the Torah write all the stories of the Avot? The Torah is a book of laws. Why write stories? They're not stories, says the Ramban. They're a roadmap. I think it's called Trailblazer. Maisa Avot Simin Labanim. What to do and sometimes not what to do.
What not to do.
What not, thank you. Right? Balaturim, incredible. What are you making goodwill gestures and concessions to Esav? You like him so much, you'll wind up in Galut or Esav. Rome exiled us. Rome is Esav. So according to Balaturim, because Yaakov made these concessions and goodwill gestures to Esav, we were exiled to Rome. Chava, alias Esav. Maisa Avot Simin Labanim. So we have to learn from them what to do and what not to do, says Balaturim, not me, the Balaturim, in the year 1348. Yes, doctor?
It says, I don't know whether it's a Medrash or one of the authority, that every time that Yaakov Avinu bowed to Esau,
right,
there was another, they were going to another.
Nachon. He bowed, how many times did he bow? 7 times. So therefore there were 7 kings of Edom before 1 king in Israel. The Medrash says that. He bowed how many times to him? Let's take a look how many times he bowed. Yeah, it says how many times he bowed. Vayishlach. Yeah. This week's Parshas. 7 times. Bereshis 33, Pasuk Gimel. He bowed down 7 times, says the Medrash. He bowed down 7 times. Therefore, there were 7 kings in Edom, David, before there was even what? 1 king in Israel. Isn't that incredible? What we do affects not just us, but all our future descendants. Awesome responsibility. He bowed down 7 times to the Medrash, so therefore, God decreed there'll be 7 kings in Edom, Ilana, before even 1 king in Israel. It's Bereshis 33, Pasuk 3. He bowed down 7 times in front of Obama. I mean Esav. Vashtachu arza sheva pa'amim.
How come I don't see that?
It's in the Parsha, Ilana. Bereshis 33, Pasuk 3. Parshas Vayishlach, this week's Parsha.
Yeah, I have 30.
I hope you don't have the censored version.
No.
Get the uncensored one.
Obama censored them.
Right? Bereshis 33, Ilana, Pasuk 3.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Oh, you found it. Baruch Hashem.
Himself went ahead of them, bowing himself.
How many times?
7 times.
7 times. So no coinky dinky, there were 7 kings of Edom before even 1 king of Israel.
So what's your point?
My point is we have to learn what to always do, what to do and what not to do. Stop making goodwill gestures to our enemies. That.
Stop bowing.
Stop bowing down to John Balkari.
Wait, the Bnei Israel Israel wanted a king, and Hashem said you should not have any king.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you had 7.
I'm not saying the Medrash Rabbah is saying.
Listen, before
Not me. The Medrash Rabbah said.
But before, so is the inference, I'm asking a question. Is the inference to be drawn
Yeah.
that having one Jewish king was positive or negative?
It's a mitzvah in the Torah to have a king.
But
One of the Taryag mitzvahs is to have a king. So why was God upset when they asked for a king? There's a mitzvah to appoint a king.
but
You didn't know that? Good thing you came today. What?
how can it be considered?
Okay, so now you want to open up a new topic. Okay, well, let's talk. The Rambam asked this question. 1 minute. You must have ESP, because that's my next Sunday's topic. Do you have this Sunday? 1 minute, Sunday at 2. You must have ESP. Let's talk. What's your name?
In Hebrew, Nechama.
Nechama. You asked Rambam's question. Nechama. Just like there's a mitzvah in the Torah to put on tefillin, Ilana. The mitzvah in the Torah to eat matzah on Pesach. There's a mitzvah to appoint a king. So the Rambam asks, if so, why was God so upset? A Jew wants to do a mitzvah. Why was God upset?
Why are you saying that it's a mitzvah?
Nechama, because I'm not saying the Sefer mitzvah. The Rambam and the Chinuch count appointing a king just like there's a mitzvah to put on tefillin, Aryeh. There's a mitzvah, what?
Appointing a king is not a mitzvah.
Adoni. It's in the Rambam, Sefer HaMitzvot.
I don't agree with it.
You want to argue with the Rambam?
A Jewish king.
You want to argue with the Rambam? The Rambam and the Taryag mitzvos and the Chinuch, the same one as they count putting on tefillin, there's a mitzvah.
If we leave the human
So Nechama, Soim Tosem Alecha Melech is a mitzvah like putting on tefillin. So says Rambam, Ramban, Sefer HaChinuch. But some people say don't confuse him with the fact. So the Rambam says, if so, why was God so upset when they asked for a king? So why was God so upset, Nechama? You're kasha, right? So what's the answer?
Because they said we want to be like all the other nations.
They didn't want it l'shma.
Right. Now,
They didn't do it l'shma.
but having said
So that's my Sunday's talk, the Chama. Fake it till you make it. You have to come back Sunday at 2. Hello? You must have ESP, not today. Sunday at 2. So what? It's not l'shma. There's a concept, doing mitzvahs. Fake it till you make it. So you must have ESP. So what if it wasn't l'shma? You never heard the expression, fake it till you make it?
from you, I've heard that expression.
So that's my Sunday at 2 o'clock. Aryeh, I'm leaving you with a cliffhanger. Stay tuned. Come back Sunday. Thank you, 2 o'clock.